Hey guys, what's up? It's Rob, and today I want to talk to you about how to find your person. So I received a question the other day from one of my YouTube followers, and he asked me, he said, "Hi, I'm 32, never married, never had sex, church raised single. It scares me. How do I approach a woman? First, even how do I choose the right one to start talking to or flirt with? I pray, of course, for wisdom, yet I freak out if I should go and talk to every girl who I find attractive. I'm just helpless." Thanks for reading. Okay, so the first thing I would say is you need to pray about it. You obviously need to be talking to God about, who it is that you're supposed to be with long term. That's a huge decision. My strategy always for finding that person was to keep a large friend circle. And then if I found someone or if someone intrigued me or piqued my curiosity or, got my attention enough to take another step with, then I would do that. When I see people that just date without really knowing anything about the other person, I always think that that's a bad strategy because, even if you were like, let's say online dating, you have such a limited amount of information to go off of. You might know that they're attractive and maybe that they're a Christian, but what else really do you know? On top of that, a lot of people lie on their dating profiles and paint themselves as something that they're not really, that they really aren't. So I don't have that kind of time to invest to, just to go on dates with people, randomly hoping that I'm going to get lucky and hit the lottery and one of them is going to be my soulmate. So my strategy for the last 6.5 years was just to keep a large friend circle. And then I thought, one day either the girl that God told me 18 years ago is going to hit me up, or if the plan had changed, he's going to let me know. And he's going to tell me when another girl comes into my life. And that could have happened in a variety of ways. I mean, I'm still human, so it could have been like somebody instantly, caught my attention. Like they were just that attractive to me that I was like, whoa, I want to pursue this person. Or maybe it was somebody that I'd known for a while that I was just friends with, that I started to see more, attractive parts of their personality and then thought, well, wow, this person maybe someone worth pursuing. I didn't know exactly how it would happen, but I just believe that that God would not leave me hanging because I was waiting for Him. There's so many verses in the Bible where it talks about waiting on the Lord, and I see a lot of people that get on these dating apps and they create 3 profiles on Match and on Plenty of Fish and OkCupid, and they work them like it's their job, and I'm like, where is your faith in God in this process? Like, do you have any? Because I believe, and I don't think there's anything necessarily wrong with looking, but I don't need 10 fishing poles to catch a fish with God. I just need 1 pole in the water. You know what I mean? So I put myself out there. I have a large friend circle. I'm on social media. And I just thought, you know what? When it's time, God's going to send her. He doesn't need me to run around like a chicken with my head cut off trying to find this person. So I would suggest that you talk to God about it in prayer, and then, put yourself out there. And if you do want to go onto a dating app or something, I think that's okay, but just do one. And that's really based on if you have the time to invest in it. Me personally, I didn't. And that's why I just, I sat and I waited for, 7 years, basically. It's been 7 years since I dated. And just at the end of last year, did God bring me the person that I hope will be my partner long term. So that's my suggestion for finding the right person is put your faith in God. I think that the chances of you finding that person on your own without His help is slim, and I don't think it's impossible. I do think that, if you're watching this and you're not a believer, you don't have a relationship with God, I still think it's possible if you abstain from sex. Because if you don't abstain from sex, you're likely to get hemmed up with the wrong people and miss your right person. If you abstain, you can go through the numbers really quick and you can find your right person potentially without the help of God, although He may be behind it anyway, even if you don't know Him, because I do think that He orchestrates things unbeknownst to us. But that's my suggestion is, and obviously if you're a believer, you should be waiting also, because I think that you can jack up the relationship even with the right person if you don't wait, because there is a right and wrong way to go about this. You don't put the icing on the cake before you stick it in the oven. You know what I mean? And so you can mess up a relationship with the right person if you go about it the wrong way. As far as, do you go up and talk to every girl that you find attractive? No, you don't do that. I've had friends that said to me before, they're like, well, how do you know that that's not your wife right there? Like, they'll see a good looking woman and say, well, how do you know that's not her? And if that was my game plan for trying to find my wife, that would be impossible. It's not like I can walk up to every person that I find attractive and start a conversation with them or take them out. So at some point you have to realize that it's kind of out of your control, and that's where I decided to put my trust in God with the whole process and believe that He was going to reward me if I trusted in Him, and worked on myself with that time, that time that I was taking off from dating and from searching for that person. Because again, that dating takes up a lot of time. It's time that you could be working on yourself, time that you could be volunteering, reading, starting a business, starting a nonprofit. There's a million things that you can do. I talk about it in the book, Sex Transmutation. So when you take that time and you put it into yourself and become the person that you're looking for, then I believe that God, or some may call it the universe, rewards you and brings you that right person in exactly the right moment. But most people don't want to go through that process. So I'm not sure if that's your case, but I would just say, put yourself out there. If you see someone that you find attractive, that really stands out to you, just walk up to them and talk to them. I think one of the things that we forget about the opposite sex, especially men, and I'm guilty of it too, is that they want to meet someone as much as we want to meet someone. Every single girl out there watching this video wants to meet a great guy, but sometimes as men, we get so intimidated by women, because there's this mystery, to them, and we don't want to be rejected. But we forget that, they want to meet somebody as bad as we do. So I think if you just walk up to someone and you are honest with them and just say, hey, tell them your name. And one of the things that I used to say, when I would go out and try to meet girls, is just be like, hey, if I didn't meet you, I knew I'd regret it. My name's Rob, and just, I think if you're honest, that it's not complicated, but don't be scared. But again, it all goes back to having faith in God and having Him direct your paths, and if He knows that you're waiting on Him, He's going to prompt you to meet that person, whether it's a friend introduces you or somehow you bump carts in the grocery store or whatever it is. I believe God will orchestrate that for you, and He won't let you miss it if He knows you're waiting on Him. But you do have to put yourself out there. Don't just sit on your butt and wait for someone to come knock on your door. And don't just sit on your butt and not work on yourself. Take the time off and use it wisely so that when He sends her, you're the man that she's looking for, because you're going to attract what you are, not what you want. So make sure you become that person. So that's my advice, and good luck.